paperback, and audiobook. And it's also available on Audible and iTunes. All right, so you can get this. And I read the book in the audiobook format. All right, this first. Last week was the first episode of Lessons from Guided. Today, I will continue reading from the 137 tips, learnings, lessons, and awarenesses sprinkled throughout my true life story. Guided. Is the audio working right? Guided is the roadmap for stepping on board any point along your life path so you too can join forces with your own spirit guides and angels, creating a better life than you could have done on your own. Just when I thought I was done writing Guided, my guides started to wake me up at 1 a.m. every night for 2 weeks, starting from the beginning of my manuscript, stopping me where they added a tip, a learning, a lesson, or an awareness. They told me these would help the reader understand how guidance works in their life. These are like afterthoughts of reflection on what was really going on in my life while I was living it, living in two worlds, not just this one. This is what consciousness is all about, being aware of what's really going on from this greater awareness. In my training, I show you, like my guides showed me, how this works. Last week, starting from when I first became aware that I was not alone in being guided, now I'm aware of the lack of support in this world, strengthening the alliance with my guides. The result was I was mastering living in two worlds simultaneously without anyone in this world noticing it. All right. So we're going to go to chapter 3. Last week, I covered the tips, learnings, lessons, and awarenesses in chapter 1 and 2, because those were the first 2 times I made contact with these light beings who I call my spirit guide angels. So chapter 3, I'm going to get right into the tip, learning, lesson, or awareness. Okay, it's a tip. Now, keep in mind, the guides came through with these different lessons for all of you. So you could see how it worked in your life. All right. When you find yourself in hell, just keep walking. It sounds tough, but it's the best advice there is. Your guides are with you to help you through it, but it's you who came here to live it. Imagine that you did that. You planned it. You planned it with your guides. You chose the parents you have because they can provide what you need to learn in your own unique way. So that's where we're going to go with this. Imagine that you did that. That you came here to learn something, to free yourself from whatever that was unfinished, unpolished, unresolved from lifetimes before. That's why you did it. That's why I did it. So even though there were incidences where where I knew something was important, something important was going on with me, and my mom didn't punish me, she still beat me for other things so many times that I can't begin to count them. So I came into, from chapter 1 and 2, I came into a harrowing childhood, lots of child abuse, physically, mentally, emotionally, in every way you can imagine, directed from my mom. And it was so much abuse that even when at one point, when my mom, I'm going to fast forward on this, when my mom was beating me, I was probably about 3.5 years old. I crawled out to the living room and begged my dad to stop her. And what my dad did, the only one in this world who really loved me, he turned his head the other way and pretended it didn't happen. It wasn't happening. As my mom grabbed me, pulled me back into the bedroom and continued to beat me. Okay, so is that the end of it? Is that where we end up? It's just a hopeless situation where we have no power in our life, 3.5 years old. No, pretty far from that. What I learned in chapter 1 and 2 from the tips, learnings, lessons, and awarenesses, if you missed it, go back to last week's, is that the more this world rejected me, the more this world did not support me, the more this world let me down, the stronger my connection became with these light beings. That was my choice. That was what made sense to me. And that's the direction I went. I remembered them from before I came here, from the pressure that this world put on me. Every time, you guys, pressure from this world is laid down on you, it's an opportunity to learn something greater than what's being promoted in this world. It's an opportunity if you don't take it personally, if you can step out of the trauma, the drama, the pounding from this world, if you can just release it, okay, and breathe and let guidance come through, because it will. As soon as you become in that center place between the world you came from and the world you're in, it's called being present. As bold as that sounds, here you are in some sort of hell in this world, and you can bring yourself into this quiet place, this calmness. That's when this returns. You return, and your team of guides is able to reach you. You've got more power than you ever imagined you had. That's what I realized from all these people who let me down, from all this trauma that came at me from the beginning of my life. This was the choice I made. It was calm. It wasn't loud. So when you find yourself in hell, just keep walking. Although it sounds tough, it's the best advice there is. Your guides are with you to help you through it, but it's you who came here to live it. You came here to work something out where your soul was not at ease. It needed to come back and work through something. All right. You chose the parents you have because they can provide you with what you need to learn it in your unique life. Yeah, I got a huge dose of it. And you guys, once I got out of my childhood, and we'll move through all that, but you need to understand how you got to where you are and where you need to go back and heal some of these things, okay? Where you interpreted them incorrectly, really. Yeah, because you were so traumatized by what this world was laying on you, this world, okay? Okay, so I'm about age 4 or 5, and I develop a sort of game. I would lie on, here's what I would do. I would lie on the bed on my back, and I had those rubber darts that when you lick them, and in those days, we didn't have cottage cheese ceilings like they had in the 70s. I guess the 60s too, right? It was a flat, smooth ceiling. And I would shoot them up on the ceiling through the dart. I'd just shoot them up there. But they'd fall back down on me once they dried, right? They'd just fall back on me. And it was annoying me. So I, for some reason, stepped into a whole new zone. And I left my body and went up there as soon as I shot up maybe 3 or 4 of them before they landed back down on me, no matter how gooey I made them with spit. I went up to the ceiling without even thinking about how I did it or that I even did it. Went up to the ceiling and picked them off the ceiling before they could fall back down on top of me. I was going out of body. Now, I didn't even think of it as going out of body. It was so natural to do. You guys, it's so natural for you to be somewhere other than in this physical form. You aren't in this physical form for very long. When you weigh it against where you are, all the rest of the time, which is where you came from, which is where you return to when you're released from this world. Okay. This is a tough place to be, but you don't forget who you are. You've got these natural abilities all the time when you're not in a physical body. So I stepped into that zone, that the possibilities. Okay. And I stepped into it because life in this world was so disappointing. There was nothing here that felt good to me as a kid. So I really did. And I had that encounter when I was 20 months old, where I encountered my spirit guides, these light beings and angels physically in this world when they saved my life. Okay. From that point forward, everything was different for me, but it's not any different for you when you start to remember who you are. That's what made the change for me. I understood that who I was, where I came from, and who they were who followed me here, my guides. And then I realized in that moment, this world was not all there is. When I realized that nothing in this world could really hurt me because this is not all there is. When you are released from the fear of being hurt, destroyed, damaged, when you're released from all that, you start to see things differently. You have control over yourself. You calm down. That's when your guides can reach you. Okay. So this is what this little girl at 20 months old learned. This is what this little girl at 3.5 years old was playing in, dancing in, learning without really thinking about what she was learning. That would be me, as these guides took me through all this. Okay. And then I got so bold. I knew that all I had to do was keep my guidance to myself. Never let anyone know what was really going on. Okay. That's real important, you guys. You need to keep it to yourself. I'm going to keep going through this so you understand what this is. Keep it to yourself. And I even, while the family every Sunday, the tradition was to play Disneyland, Walt Disney. It was always Walt Disney night, Sunday night. And the family would all gather with popcorn and watch Walt Disney, right? And I would sit way in the back in this one chair, and I would be watching everybody, and I would go out of my body in the room where everyone was in the family, 2 brothers and a mom and dad. And they would walk past me, and there my body was, but I wasn't in it. And I'd watch them from the ceiling walk by my body to go to the kitchen, to get some water, to go to the bathroom. And they didn't even pay attention to me because I was just sitting there like I would normally sit there, but I wasn't there. This is living multi-dimensionally too, you guys. This is who you are before you came here, who you are when you return. So I was just practicing that just to see if anybody in the room would catch me doing it. Not one person noticed it. That's interesting. So I was constantly experimenting. I was experimenting with new things because I believed in myself. When I had that encounter at 20 months old and my guide showed up for me when my life was in serious danger, from then on, when they showed me who I was, let me remember who I was, I've always believed in myself. I always have. So there's just a few things along the way that you either overlooked or you repressed it so much because the people in this world were pressuring you. Okay. So you just discarded it and you just pretended it never happened. I wasn't talking to anybody. I'm here. I'm paying attention. I'm being a good boy or girl. You were feared into the life that you wound up living. Okay. Instead of the life you came here to live, what you came here to resolve so you could be full and whole. Okay. That's what I'm reminding you about. All right. So we went through that episode, and then I'm going to go to another awareness. It's an awareness and a tip. These escape techniques were born out of trauma and turned into mind expanding experiments that many kids do. That is exactly what I was just explaining to you. But they often forget as they grow up, or while you're growing up. You push it away, you repress it. And really what you're repressing, what you're pushing away is you, the real you that came into this world, is retreating from this world, because this world is too harsh for this part of you to fully live out who you are. You're not accepted for who you are. You are told to be what they want you to be, what they expect you to be. Very little room for the real you to exist in that. And that's what happened. That's why you retreated. But you know what? You didn't go anywhere. You're sitting over here on standby, waiting for you to be safe in this world so you can begin to creep back in, gently come back into the moment and join you in this world and live this world out, not in pieces, in parts and pieces, but the whole you, the whole experience that you came here to experience. And that includes guidance that's coming through all the time, right? I learned this in childhood. Okay. So, yeah, that's when it's easiest to contact your guides. And that out-of-body state is powerful. Lucid dreaming is powerful. All of this, it leads you back to who you are. So then you are more of who you are as you're living this out and living it the way you intended to live it, not part and parcel, not in pieces, not just for a little while you fake it in this world and then catch your breath and grab another dose of yourself. I'm going to be okay. I know I'm going to be okay. I'm going to make it. I know I can. I hope I can. And that kind of stuff starts and bam, you're back over here and you're terrified because you don't feel connected. That's what it is. Okay. So the next one is a tip. Often kids who experience this kind of thing choose to turn everything off. If you can remember it, you can reignite it now and use it as a bridge to power up your connection to your guides. If you can remember it, how are you going to do that? I'll tell you what, a good starting place is right here. When you read or listen to guided, you'll remember yourself. That's one of the most common review comments that guided gets is, oh, I know I can do it. I remember it. I feel it. You explained it so well. I connect with it. Okay. So that's what this book does. It wakes you back up. Right. Okay. So then I start school, I start kindergarten. And as I look back on those early preschool years, despite the pain and dysfunctional family dynamic, it still was a magical learning time in my life. In fact, it was those family dynamics that forced me to discover things that would set the stage for the rest of my life. While the family was working against me and really tormenting me, abusing me, including my older brother. He was really bad. And my dad would just turn the other way, go to work. I had nobody. And I had to protect my little brother, my younger brother, because my mom and dad didn't want him. And he was my charge. Anyway, I took him everywhere with me and taught him things and everything. But okay, I had so many rich experiences, but to me, my discoveries were just normal. Although they were normal for me, I also knew to keep it to myself, to never tell anybody about what I was learning. In fact, I was 62 years old before I published Guided and told my secrets. Right here. This is a game changer. Okay, the next one. is a tip. People you live with may think you're losing your mind as you pursue a relationship with your guides. That starts from the beginning of your life. Wake up, snap out of it. Who are you talking to? Right? Okay. It's a juggling act that you will learn to live in two worlds. That's the key. It's not living just in this world or just being where you came from and kind of drifty all the time, never really connecting with this world. You guys, you came here to live your life, all right? It includes both worlds. How conscious are you willing to be? The best advice I can give you is to keep a journal that dates of your encounters with your guides and your dreams and things that happen in your day life that are unusual and out of the ordinary. All of that should be in your journal so you can begin to remember yourself. Remember why you're here. Okay? Doing this will be invaluable as it keeps you on your path to self-discovery. There you go. That's how you're going to do it. You're not going to go find a guru that's going to tell you what to think and what they did and how you should do it. That's not going to work for you. You came in fully equipped. You know how to do this. You just need to remember where you left off. That's what guided teaches. I was still preschool when my mother found new ways to add to my torment. So here I was, connected, getting it. I had this smooth connection with my guides, helping my younger brother who was not wanted by this family. Neither was I. And my mom just keeps pouring it on. God. And I signed up for that. Really? I signed up for a mother like that. It sure did make me more than I could have been or ever would have been without that pressure on me. That's what's interesting about it, you guys. Okay. She actually told us kids she was going to break our spirits. She said, I'm going to break your spirit, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. Was my mom a demon or what? When she said that one to me, I remember what my reaction was. That was the one time I was, 4 or 5 years old. I watched her say that, and I stood up to her and I said, you're going to have to kill me because I'll never let you break my spirit. You can't have my spirit. You'll have to kill me. And I got right in her face. That was where the lines were drawn between us. From then on, she knew where I stood and I knew where she stood. And that was our relationship till the day they put her in her grave. Okay, that was it. I wasn't letting her do that to me. I wasn't letting her do that to anybody. She was a bully. How many people do you guys know that were bullies when you were growing up and you didn't know how to deal with them? You didn't know where to go to get help. I asked for help and they showed up. Help is there, you guys. You're not without help. And you're always being guided, just like me. And here's the next learning. One lesson I learned from this situation is that when your life becomes really unbearable, there it is, help someone else. Now that's when I helped my younger brother. I would take him places. I always had money, so I would take him bowling, and I would take him to the amusement park, and I would take him riding the bikes and going to play basketball and riding skateboards, and I took him everywhere we could go to get away from my mom. Yeah. So I had a way to help somebody. That's what I do to this day. When I help you, I help myself. It helps everyone heal. The world is needing a lot of healing, you guys. All right. Okay. And it goes on about, about how the family is just so dysfunctional, and we just keep moving through the situation. All right. Okay, so this is the last guidance that came through that the guides placed in this chapter of chapter 3. It's a learning. Family is not an accident of birth. You've got to get your head over that. You've got to get over the fact that this family was horrible. Look what they did to me. They didn't do anything to me. I didn't let them do anything to me. I let it work for me. I made this valuable connection with my guides because of that dysfunctional family. I had no support in this world, you guys. So I reached out. And that's when I discovered them. That's when I was able to recognize what was really going on. All right, that this world is not all there is. You are in two worlds. You actually picked the family before you were born to help you deal with your own shortcomings and provide you with the opportunities you need to learn. When you read Guided, you get into the details of what it was that I was facing and how I learned from it in spite of the intentions of the family members, in spite of it. Okay, I was able to rise above it, you guys. Was I able to get out of it? No. Was I able to run away from it? No. So you can't run away from this stuff. You have to understand how to, it's not even about dealing with it. You have to understand how to reach out to what's available to you. Okay, take control back of your life and keep your guidance to yourself. Critical. And start writing in your journal. That's the most important part. Because like a dream, if you don't write it down, 5 minutes after you remember it, poof, you forget. In my case, the family I picked made life so unbearable that I was able to break through to the other side and gain full access to my real family. The family you have in this life is temporary, just like this life is you're on temporary assignment in this life. Everything here is temporary. Okay, except for who you become from being here. That's who you take with you. Don't expect your earth family to fulfill the meaning of your life. They're learning just like you are. They're scared just like you are. They're trying to be successful just like you are. They're trying to make a difference just like you are. Okay. They're trying to become more than they were before they got here, even if they don't consciously remember that. Just like you are. Just think about it. We're living in this skin. This skin is very thin. It's thin. That's our only protection from this world. Okay. That's what it feels like when you're only here. That's what it feels like when you're disconnected from where you came from and you forgot about the team who followed you here to help you through it. You guys, this is supposed to be fun. Can you imagine that this life is supposed to be fun? All the time. I'm not talking about going out and getting drunk and being in a party and getting crazy and doing stuff or buying stuff. Or I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about experiencing the whole thing, not just this world, because that's too harsh. There's not enough here to really help you through this. So you get yourself and get why you came here. You must be connected. You must be in two worlds present so you don't miss it anymore. Okay, so quit taking this all so personally. Quit letting this hurt you. It's not supposed to hurt you. Your soul, your higher self, never would have placed you here to watch you get hurt. Never. They love you unconditionally. They never would have done that to you. All of those parts of you, all of those aspects, your guides, yourself, your higher self, your soul. Are you kidding me? You didn't do that. You didn't put yourself here to put yourself into jeopardy, to make yourself miserable. You came here, if that was part of the chemistry, part of the recipe, part of the experience that you planned when you came here, along with all the other characters that played that out with you, like a chess game, okay? Then you didn't do that to hurt yourself. You did that because you saw that as what you needed to learn. So once you moved on and out of this dimension to where it is that you came from, where you are whole, completely whole, all your energy is with you, that you go back healed. You go back full. You go back more than you were before you got here. All right. So I know that the first 8 chapters of Guided, first 8 chapters, is harrowing. But that's even though it was harrowing. What I gained from it is beyond me. I was able to do that. Wow. You guys are all capable. You came here to do that. You came here to raise the bar. So contemplate how guidance is always working in your life. Join me again next Saturday, December 26th at 1 p.m. Pacific time on my Facebook page, my Facebook timeline, and my YouTube channel. And remember to start writing down what's really going on and keep your guidance to yourself.